So this is our street. It's actually a pedestrian street in La Spezia. So we actually had to drive up close to it and haul our luggage, but it is really worth it. It's kind of the core of the town, and lots of places to eat and everything. So this morning we're making our way to the railway station, which is just at the end of this street, and we'll take the train to our first village, which is Manarola. And then I think we're gonna get a bus to a higher town and then walk the vineyards and the trails down into another town. So that's the plan for at least the beginning of today. So this is the town square, and as we're walking to the railway station, we noticed that this is all set up. I guess it's clothing and vendors. So this is normally never here. So this just popped up on Friday. So I guess Friday is this kind of market day in La Spezia. So right now we're in Manarola, and this supposedly is the best view of the village. You can see people coming down into it, and we just got off the train. There isn't much of a view from the train. It's just all in tunnels, but we're in this village, and we're about to find the bus stop to take us up to Valastra to hike down. Again, this is Manarola, but we're actually walking from where we took the last video with the view. So I guess the boats actually winch up and down. So you see a bunch of them all there just on the side, and one boat is on the winch, and it actually just came up. So it's actually really interesting as to how they get boats in the water here. It's very rocky. We're walking back up from the coast. You get the sense of the depth of the houses and how they're all built into the hills.
So I don't know where the curling rink is, but that guy, I think, is going to pedal somewhere.
So we're on the bus now that's taking us into Valastra. So we'll see how that goes.
So we are walking in the path. We're just hiking down to that city. There's vineyards right here. The sea is right there, and that's the boat we took the other day. And we're literally Coniglia, that's where we're going, and we're walking in front of people's houses. It's quite interesting and a nice view from up here.
So in the distance, you can see how far we came up with the bus. That's actually the city that we started in, which is Manarola. So we came up with the bus, and then I think on these terrace trails, we're gonna make our way up and down into the next city, which is Coniglia. So in the distance, we believe this is the town we're walking into, which is Coniglia, and we're walking through vineyards right now. And apparently the soil was actually transported here by hand through the centuries to create these terraced walls.
So securities here are a bit different. This is like a complete fall. This is the width of the path. It's pretty scary. Well, I was like, oh, do you want to pass me? I'm like, nah.
Wow. Just absolutely beautiful views as we walk down into that city. Martin, are you okay?
I'm freaking scared.
You are?
It's a big fall. You have like a foot wide path. And it's a straight downfall.
We just came from that path that's the downfall, right?
Yeah.
And this one is pretty much the same up here.
Like one tip that Mario Andretti told the young driver is to not look at the wall. So basically I'm trying to avoid looking down right now because I'm scared.
That's what Martin meant by the really the drop down. See, there's another view of the village that we're going to. This is just spectacular. And this path barely has any people on it in comparison to other ones. So we're really happy for the recommendation from that tourist guide we met on the boat. It may actually even be steeper here. We just came on this little path
So we are now a bit further. We walked along that ridge there all along so you could see the town, but now we're on the other side of the hill. Look at the color of the sea here. It's beautiful, and the path is a bit wider here, so I'm less scared.
We're just always stopping to do videos here. So that is actually Manarola in the distance, the town that we started at before we took the bus. So you can see it's right on the coast. But the blues, the greens, it's just absolutely magnificent and breathtaking. So now it seems like we're almost in a forest here. So it's neat how it's actually a lot cooler here, lots of shade. So we just walked through actually those buildings in people's gardens. It was kind of cool, and then, you know, come around this path, etc. So we just came across some girls that were really tired, that I think this is now the drop. So for most of this walk, it's been kind of terraced and very flat, but now I think we're just going to literally drop into the town. So we're going downhill, and we're pretty glad of that. So this is our downward slope here. So I think this is a bit blurry because I think there's condensation on our camera here. But in any case, we're just going down into the village. We've actually come around the village up top, and now we seem to be dropping into it on the other side. So it's a very interesting walk. You can see it here. So here we're descending into the village of Vernazzo. Doesn't work so good. We've now made it to Corniglia, and I think on a previous video I had actually said it was Vernazzo, so that's my fault. And this is the church. It was built in the 1300s, and that's a rose window at the top. This is the view actually from the church of Corniglia. So this is the church in Corniglia. So Martin has his carrot on the end of the stick.
Bira.
Moretti?
Moretti beer.
So we've got ourselves some lemon soda and some beer, and we're gonna, I think, go and check out restaurants here after, or go into Vernazza. We're in Corniglia now. So we just finished lunch in Corniglia, and we're making our way down to the station. You can see the train tracks there. It's right beside the mare. So this is the way down to the train station. Isn't that crazy, Martin? So, Martin, where are we right now?
We're in what is called Cinque Terre.
Hopefully he got it right.
Yeah, you have to use the accent.
I can never get it right. So we've just had a lovely last dinner here. This is the main street where actually we live. It's pedestrian only. And we just wanted to tell people about, if you do visit here, we did one day where we visited the villages with a boat, and then we did one day by train and we hiked. And what we'd highly recommend is, if you actually want to see what the villages are really like, you need to do the boat, because the train goes through tunnels. When you're in the villages, you don't really see the architecture or what they're really about, except from the sea itself. So another thing you can do if you're here on a cruise is combine the boat with the train. Because the boat takes a long time if you go from where we are, La Spezia, all the way to almost the end, which is the fifth city, or sorry, I should say village, in the Cinque Terre. So the best thing to do, I think, if you only have one day, is take the train, do the hike that we did today, down to a village, immediately get on a train, go all the way to the top, see that village, so you'll have seen 3, come back via the boat and stop at the very end in, I think it's Reggio Maggiore. That's
Rio
the
Maggiore.
Rio Maggiore, and that's the last village, and you'll have seen 4 out of 5, and you'll have seen it from the ocean as well. So that's just our little tip, and we're about to head to Tuscany now, just enjoying our last night.
Yeah, and just so you know, the place we rented is just down the street here. The train station is just down here, about 3 or 4 minutes. The boats, the boat pier is just down there, about 8 minutes, and our place of residence, I'm turning around, is just there somewhere in the middle. So pretty good location. And Carter, what do you think about your trip to Italy so far?
I love it, Mom.
Do you love it, Carter? Yeah.
Good night,
Carter
all.
loves it. Good night.